Mike Epps, Ready to Sell Out, just dropped on Netflix. I knew Jesse was coming into the studio. I just watched it. I watched it twice because I watched it and I wasn't really paying attention the first time. And then I started hearing that people were on it. Then I saw that Mike Epps actually put out like a response video.
But that was the joke.
If you know what I
bro.
mean? Sure, it was all in good humor. But who does this man think he is really? Okay, now I'm out.
Now you're
actually. What? Who wrote this? Let's expose this. Yeah, yeah, you won't look like that, you fucking weirdo. Yeah. And this is not. Sorry.
All those people that have some kind of affiliation love the joke because they're like, yo, I can't even tell this to people because they think I'm being a bitch or whatever. But like, thank you for sharing that. But it's the people that have no affiliation that are like, you can't
stand up.
Yeah, you can't talk about. I'm not
How
even making.
dare you?
Yeah,
you're punching down.
And I'm like, I'm not even making fun of them, bro. Listen to the story.
I'll punch you in your. Me and this nigga right here, me and Jesse are producing a show in a bodega.
Yeah, March 23rd at 684 College Street in Toronto. So make sure you guys show up. The Greenhouse, Chop Cheese Comedy.
DA Greenhouse on Instagram.
Yeah.
But we are starting a show. It's going to be a very different show. It's in a bodega. So we're very much going to be in line with that vibe and theme for the show.
Definitely.
We're going to be chopping it up every month, different themes and different subjects. It'll be mostly me and Jesse, but then we'll bring in our friends to round out the show.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that if you're in the Toronto area and listening to the podcast. Let's talk about some comedy news, some shit. Some shit dropped this week. One of my favorite comedians ever. He's been represented on the wall of this podcast since we moved into this studio, at least. Mike Epps, Daddy!
Shout out to Mike Epps.
This nigga is an absolute legend, OG. Did it by himself, essentially. Did it in the industry, but kind of outside the industry. And he's always been respected for that. But he's been getting some controversy over, or not controversy, but backlash. People have been doo-dooing on his new comedy special. Mike Epps, Ready to Sell Out, just dropped on Netflix. I knew Jesse was coming into the studio. I just watched it. I watched it twice because I watched it and I wasn't really paying attention the first time. And then I started hearing that people were shitting on it. Then I saw that Mike Epps actually put out like a response video and people were fucking shitting on him.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, not like he's like, thank you to all the people that like he mostly was talking to people that were loving on it, but then he mentioned at the end, he's like, and yo, fuck y'all, the haters, man.
Oh, okay.
So people are like, man, it's obviously getting too much shit. But I wanted to get Jesse to watch it so we can kind of do a little review.
Yeah.
I think the last comedy special we reviewed on the podcast was the Chappelle special. So I'd like to do more of that shit. So I know you didn't watch it all.
What did you think of the Chappelle thing?
His last special?
Yeah.
I gave it a 3.5.
Dreamer, 3.5 out of 10 or 5?
5.
3.5 out of 5. Okay.
Yeah. It was like for Chappelle.
Yeah.
And this is the same argument I gave then, but like I'm not even saying that it was a lazy special or anything like that, but he has a lot stronger specials.
Yeah.
And like the stuff that resonates with me mostly is kind of the off the beaten path shit, like the Bird Revelation. Of all his Netflix comedy specials,
I love that one.
Bird Revelation is my favorite one.
Yeah, that one
because and it's just the belly room. I think I've talked about it on this podcast like fucking 80 times just this season alone.
Yeah.
But it's like just Chappelle in the belly room on a stool smoking a cigarette.
It's just raw.
And it's 30 people and he's talking about fucking Weinstein and the industry and why he left and talking about the book Pimp and like, bro, like that's resonated with me. And then he's talking about like you have an obligation to fucking speak recklessly. Like I don't want my children to grow up in a world like just
all of that.
Yeah, all of that shit. I know you didn't watch the full Mike Epps special.
No, I didn't.
You watched the second half.
I tried to get caught up literally right before coming to the fucking pod, fam.
So how much of a fan of Mike Epps are you?
I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't like a huge fan, but I loved like I loved his movie appearances more than his stand-up that I've seen of his, to be honest. Like in Friday, bro, he's probably one of my favorite characters when he was playing Day-Day. Yeah. So funny, bro.
This is autographed by Mike Epps. My homie got it from me, but he did some sort of weed collab with Cookies in the States. So this is like they named a strain Day-Day, hard. And they fucking got this like. But he opened a comedy club. We should go.
I saw that.
In Detroit.
Yeah. I
of
saw
all
that.
places, he's not even from Detroit.
Which is
like,
right off.
I think he was selling
border,
coke in Detroit when he was young. Like what a reason to go back.
Yeah.
But we should definitely go.
I'd be down, bro.
A little road trip and try and do some. We should plot some shit in Windsor.
Yeah.
And then just go across the border
fam.
and go check out open mic. So of the half of the special that you saw, it's so weird, bro. Like, and like to watch the second half.
I was watching the first half, but I'm like, I was just stuff that I've heard. It's stuff that like you would expect them to talk about, right? Like the fucking
subject matter that
subject matter. So I just wanted to hear in this. Usually the second half of the special is when he starts getting into the nitty. Anyone starts getting into the more nitty gritty shit. That's why I'm like, let me watch the second half, see how he ends this thing.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
I can't even ask you for your rating though. Like,
yeah, I know. I can't rate the second half of the.
I mean, what would you rate the second?
If you're watching it as a standalone Mike Epps special, you get what you're gonna like. You get what you expected to get. So I would give it a 3. You know what I mean? But if you're looking at it from a comedy special overall, I would just give it like a 2.5.
I like that separation.
Yeah,
I like that separation.
The way I viewed it was I was talking about the Chappelle thing with someone, and I was like, "Yo, he's one of my favorite comics of all time." You know what I mean? For me, but when I watched Dreamer, I was like, this is whack. Like, I hated it, bro. And then when I was talking to someone...
You hated it?
Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
All the way through?
There was like 1 or 2 moments I chuckled, but I'm like, I thought the Andy Kaufman shit was funny. Like,
that was funny to me, 'cause, like I'm a Kaufman fanatic.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. But like, I was talking to someone and I'm like, yo, I didn't like the special. But they're like, did you not like it because you're... comparing Chappelle to Chappelle, or did you not like it because you're comparing Chappelle to stand-up? And those are 2 different like distinctions. Because when I was watching the special, I was like, yo, this doesn't hold up to Bird Revelation. This doesn't hold up to Killing Him Softly. Nothing holds up to Killing Him Softly or like For What It's Worth.
Yeah.
You know, but then those are 2 completely different things.
Would you say they still stand up?
For What It's Worth and Killing Him Softly?
Yeah. Have you gone back and watched them recently?
I think they hold up, bro.
I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know, like, I don't know how many times I could listen to the Sesame Street. And again, these are still like the jokes.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to fucking diminish the quality of the jokes because there's like.
But for its time, I see what you're saying. For its time, it was crazy. Like, bro,
you find that they're timeless. Like, I can go back and watch Eddie Murphy's Raw, and that's from like the 80s.
But
70s.
I was actually gonna say that. I was gonna say That's not timeless.
But that's okay. I guess socially it's not. But for me, it is.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, oh, fuck.
Love you, Eddie. Shut up, bitch.
Shut up, bitch. I think Patrice O'Neal special is timeless.
Elephant in the room, bro. Bam, right here.
Crazy.
Right here. Yeah, like, yeah, this feels pretty timeless.
Yeah.
I would say this is a timeless one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You definitely need the time to pass. Because I get caught up and be like, yo, this is fucking fire. And then you watch it 80 times. Like, some of Cat Williams stuff, timeless, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I would say Pimp Chronicles, it's
one of my favorite.
Like, it's Pimpin', right? Where he has his fingers to his temple, I think, and it's written across his forehead.
Which one's the green
tank?
Which one's the one where he's wearing the green
That's
suit?
Pimp Chronicles Part 1.
Yeah, that one's, I love that one too, bro.
Like,
when he's talking about Michael Jackson.
Like, what the fuck, bro?
How you saying you Muslim? You got a white woman pork face.
So I'm trying to create one of those, bro. I know, even though like I'm very proud of my first comedy special, it's not a timeless special.
Yeah,
in my eyes,
I get. What
maybe
saying.
That's because I spent all that time editing and shit. I should let the people decide. Even just saying that now, I put that. This album sucks.
Yeah.
Why I'm unsubscribing. Get to 1,000. No, it's a fucking good, bro. It's my first 11 years worth of jokes, polished up, and burnt. All right, in comedy terms, I got rid of those fucking jokes, so I never have to tell them again. But it's a good thing to do.
What did you think of Mike Epps special?
Again, I'm an Epps fan, so I'm coming with a little bit of bias, so I'll say that up front, but I enjoyed it. But I went in knowing it's like what to expect.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, Underrated Never Faded is probably top 5 comedy specials for me. When that, to me personally, is a timeless special. I think you have to be on the end of Black culture. I watched it like with a bunch of my friends and some of my white friends that I didn't really grow up with like Black people.
Yeah, they
don't really get it. So it's like, so I think you gotta I think that's a factor.
Yeah.
But Underrated Never Faded, bro. Him in that shiny silver jacket in Detroit. He actually filmed it in Detroit. Dougie Fresh fucking opening up for him. Like, I must have watched that before I started comedy. Like, not before I started comedy. Like, at the very beginning, like, maybe the first 6 months. Like, I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And Mike, really watching him taught me to use more of my, like, be more of myself on stage.
Yeah.
What he does immaculately is blend his acting abilities into his comedy world, bro. Nobody tells a story and shows it more masterfully than Epps.
Like his act outs, his expression.
His act outs are immaculate, bro.
Yeah.
Because he's an
actual with that.
good actor. So that's what always stood out. So like I would also agree. I would say like in terms of comparing it to other Mike Epps specials, like this would actually probably be 2.5, 3 out of 5 for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it deserves all this fucking backlash that it's getting. Like, here's one article. Mike Epps ready to sell out review. Netflix special that is as bland as a piece of cardboard. Holy shit. Who wrote this article? Oh, it's a Majunder, so it's not a white person, so I'll give him that. Go to Google Images and search with the keyword Michael Scott poker face, and you'll know exactly how I felt watching Mike Epps ready to sell out on Netflix. I mean, to save you the trouble, I'm going to tell you right away that it's unimaginably unfunny and to a great extent problematic. Oh, here we go.
Problematic as in controversial?
Woke shit, but the Michael Scott face is the perfect pictorial description of the whole thing. Excuse me for the Office reference. Go fuck yourself. Let me put things further into perspective here. Years ago, I went to go see a stand-up show. A friend of mine invited me there and was supposed to perform along with a lot of other budding stand-up comedians. Anyways, my friend got cold feet and couldn't perform, and he never went that way, career-wise. The other did, and they all tried their best, but it was mostly mellow. Then came the surprise as an established name, I sadly don't remember, otherwise I would have named, took the stage and the crowd suddenly came alive. They started to laugh loudly at every joke and popular guy was telling. Now the thing is, those were as unfunny as the jokes the amateurs were telling before.
I kind of see what the man's trying to say.
Yeah, here's a profound example. This guy asked somebody from the crowd what they did. The person humbly replied that it was just an 8 to 8 job. The comedian asked the question back as if he couldn't hear the answer. The guy obliged again, and this time the comedian pretended to hear hate to hate instead of 8 to 8 and made a desperate attempt to roast the guy instead.
Jeez.
The reason I brought this up here is because Mike Epps' comedy special reminded me of the irritation I felt during the evening. I got through it only because I could comfort myself by telling myself this is that this is after all a work thing and I'm going to get paid to sit through it. My apologies for probably being too harsh. Comedy is a very unique kind of thing that could be perceived in a lot of ways. Blah, 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 blah. Epps began with da-da-da-da-da. Let's see. Nothing could save Mike Epps. Ready to sell out after that. Wait, let's see what he... Okay, let me see what this is. It was a good move, but then Epps decided to brag about never missing a child support payment. I remember. Did you hear that joke?
Yeah.
He's been paying child support since he was 17, never missed a payment. And then whine about spreading his genes way too much and putting into people who apparently don't deserve, quote unquote, that.
But that was the joke.
You know what
bro.
I mean? Sure, it was all in good humor, but who does this man think he is really? Okay, now I'm out.
Now you're
actually... What? Who wrote this? Let's expose this fucking bitch. Yeah, you wouldn't look like that, you fucking weirdo. Yeah. And this is not... sorry. Nigga in the room is Indian. I'm about to break out into an apu. Oh my God. Yeah, that's so good.
I'll do it for you. This is not what I wanted to see.
Thank you. So that way I don't get canceled.
No,
this nigga's ready to write up an article about me. Fuck this guy, bro. What is with this weird ass culture, bro?
Yeah, that was okay. That line was crazy to me.
That's not the way to have that take. Like,
because that was the joke, bro.
Yeah.
He was playing, like, he was obviously amplifying that whole thing as the humor. So, like, for someone to take it literal, why would you write about comedy if you don't know comedy?
But that's what most, bro. There's an epidemic because as comedy started to get more popular, and obviously social media is what it is.
Yeah.
There's an epidemic of people talking about everything that they're not actually affiliated with.
It's crazy.
That
bro,
they've never participated in, that they've never even fucking set foot in.
Fam, I have a joke. You probably heard the joke. I have a joke, the story where I talk about working at a daycare center for kids who have special needs.
Yeah.
every time I do the
which
joke,
you actually do,
which I did, yeah.
Oh, sorry,
yeah. Every time I tell that joke, there's people that come up to me after who have kids with special needs, relatives, siblings, whatever it is, and that's their favorite fucking bit. Because the bit is basically talking about how like, yo, people pity them and stuff, and I'm like, yo, they're regular kids. They just need different form of support. But because of that, they're also dickheads. Like, you know what I mean? Kids are dickheads, so they can also be a dickhead, and like all those people that have some kind of affiliation love the joke because they're like, yo, I can't even tell this to people because they think I'm being a bitch or whatever. But like, thank you for sharing that. But it's the people that have no affiliation that are like, you can't
stand up.
Yeah, you can't talk about. I'm not
How
even making.
Dare you?
Yeah,
you're punching down.
And I'm like, I'm not even making fun of them, bro. Listen to the story.
I'll punch you in your fucking. Oh my god, bro. You know I think the lesson that stood out for me the hardest in this respect in comedy was maybe the first like 3-4 years of me doing comedy in Hamilton. I think it was still the Yuck Yucks in Hamilton. There was a blind guy in the crowd, and I made a blind joke, and the crowd went, but then it's like the blind guy's laughing. Yeah. After the show, the blind guy and his support, they walk up to me. He's like, bro, thank you. Da-da-da. Thank you for including him. Nobody ever... And they literally said, like, you just made it normal. Like, that's...
Yeah, don't make it weird,
Don't make it weird, bro. We're in a comedy club, so guess what? They are, too. They also get the context. Like, people think because you have a disability that you're fucking mentally like you can't comprehend things. And that's your own bias, you fucking weirdo.
Fam, when I was working at this daycare center, there was a kid with Down syndrome, and he loved Coke. Not like fucking Coca-Cola. He loved it.
Original recipe.
Yeah, original recipe, bro. He loved it. So like he would go to the mall and he would tell people, like customers and shit, that like he wasn't getting fed at home. Like he would pretend to be like, yo, I'm like a kid in need. They would give him money and he would go out and just buy Coke for himself. But like that, none of that was true. His family was feeding him. Everything was blessed. Of course. He just loved fucking Coke. And he also knew, bro. He's like, because I have a disability, these guys are going to feel bad for me.
Yeah, let's go. He manipulated him.
Yeah, but he knew. So it's like
that nigga needs to be playing poker, bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, like it's wrong for us to fucking put like as a human being, we all have the freedom to make mistakes, fuck up, have vices and virtues, right? Be at times hurt other people, but also know how to love other people. Yeah. So why are we taking away that privilege from someone just because we assume they have a disability, they don't know better? That's not true. You're dehumanizing them.
Yeah. It's not. It's and it's like a cultural thing. Obviously, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like you taking all these images your entire life, and then you don't check yourself. You don't actually unlearn a bunch of shit. Unlearn? Now this is a woke podcast. Are you unlearning? Fuck. I make myself vomit. But yeah, that was the Mike Epps comedy special. By the way, if you want to hear the history of the podcast, we're back cataloging all of it on the Patreon. So if you want to subscribe to the Patreon, it's AKA Black Zeus on there. It's right now there's 2 tiers that are discounted. All right, so they're $5 and $10, but you can get them both for half price. And there's like limited seats for that. It gives you access to all the good shit. And then there's joke tiers above that if you want to support, or just hit the subscribe and we will release the comedy special on YouTube when we hit 1,000 subscribers. Jesse, before we get into this, you want to plug anything?
Yeah, I've just released my debut comedy album, Baby Goat, available on all streaming platforms through Comedy Records. Shout out to Comedy Records. And we also got my short film is out now on YouTube, which we would really like to get people to view out, like check it out, Tales from the Mendem. Because, you know, the hope is the more people we could reach, the more we could pitch this to like, you know, other networks and stuff like that. Hopefully turn this shit into a series. Because fam, I'm telling you, this is something that I feel like has been needed in Toronto for a minute, and like there's a lot of culture behind like what we're trying to push, and like the comedy and all of that stuff, as well as the production value. So like if people are on board, they like what they see, I would appreciate the support. Check it out. You know what I mean? Show some love, all that.